other is the water. You know, after I looked at the concerns that I had and wrote them down, I went to the town code online and printed out some things. And I know the town has spent a great deal of time with the water problems. All you have to do is read the paper. It must be 2 or 3 times a week. There's something in the paper about water and sewer. My concern is, all right, yeah, this is supposed to work this way, this is supposed to be that way. What recourse do I have should my well not perform adequately or its current standard, as well as my neighbors? I can't come back to, or maybe I can come back to the town and seek some kind of a recourse if my well is severely altered. I was going to say something about the property for being for sale, but now I understand it's rental units. If the properties or if the units do not rent, my concern is, like the project in the village, that the owners come back to the town and want to have a change in the special use. Yeah, well, with attorneys, anything can be changed. But my concern is, if it doesn't work out as rental units, what is it going to be changed, and how strict is it going to be enforced that it's only a planned adult community? So that's a concern. And then we come to this hideous water tower. No one's mentioned this. On the plan, there's a little round circle that says proposed water tower, 75 feet in height, approximately 25 to 50 feet off of 207, at that dangerous crest of Route 207 there. You couldn't pick, other than the doctor's property across the street that has a little bit higher elevation, you could not pick a worse spot to put a water tower that would be visible for miles and miles and miles. So that was some of the concerns, and so I went to the town code and I looked up some of the general provisions in the town code. And it says that most of the developed land in the town is in the RU district, and that's where we're talking. And therefore, the town has a vital interest in seeing that this land is either protected from development or developed in a manner consistent with the goals of the comprehensive plan, to ensure that development projects do not damage the quantity or quality of the town's groundwater supplies, protect the town's environmental resources and scenic views. Remember that hideous tower. Preserve significant tracts of intact open space, maintain the town's predominantly rural appearance, conform to the natural terrain, and provide a range of housing options that meets the need for affordable housing. Well, that they didn't touch on. Encourage the creation of safe traffic problems and sociable neighborhoods in which alternatives to the automobile are viable means of transportation. I mean, that addresses the automobiles, that alternatives to the automobile are viable means of transportation. Maintain property values. That's written in the code. So the general provisions of this code is to maintain property values of land proposed for development, as well as existing homes adjoining such land. The water problem has been addressed so much that the town has created a couple of overlays of AQ3 and AQ6, of which I believe I know I'm in AQ3, but I'm sure the project is in also AQ3, that it the town code says that the groundwater supply and the quality are serious limiting factors in the development of the land within the town. So I think that that's a serious concern. And lastly, I can't get by this water tower. I know that to build a structure in an RA or RU zone, I believe there's a restriction that the height of the building cannot be in excess of 35 feet. My house is a fairly decent sized house, and I know the height of my house, which is 2 stories with an attic, is approximately 25 to 27 feet high. This tower that's going to be on the crest of a hill is going to be 3 times the height of my house. So those are my concerns. Those are the facts that I looked in the code. So I am putting my faith in the town board, and I strenuously object to the proposal.
Thank you. Sir, if you have a written copy of that, would you mind leaving that with the clerk, or I think it's a drawing copy then?
Just notes.
Fine, okay, thank you. Anyone else in the public? Or there's a person back there hasn't been up yet.
Thank you very much, Bob Torricello, 37 Shale Lane. It's right around the corner from Everett. Don't want to be redundant. I think most of the folks covered just about everything. Particularly my concern was, as the previous gentleman spoke about, was our wells and what impact this development might have on that. So I would strongly urge the board to please study that and protect our water. The traffic has been mentioned. Again, it's very difficult just in the morning getting out to Everett Road off of 207. But I would think from Timber Trail's perspective that they should have some concern about their respective tenants. As the gentleman indicated that they're hoping 55 plus, a lot of people will be in the workforce. That means these people trying to get onto 207, not just backed up with everybody else, but they're putting their own tenants at risk, and that's something I think they need to consider. And just something previously the developers experienced, they're talking about Rockland County. I don't think anybody wants that kind of a landscape aesthetic, Rockland County in Orange County. I mean, our town is a beautiful town, and I drive down to Rockland County, it's not what I want here. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry to take your time again. I just thought of 2 things. The proposed 55 minimum age for 1 person, and assuming that all people will be working, you could have up to 3 cars probably in a 3-bedroom or even a 2-bedroom apartment being rented, which is a lot of traffic to be added. Now, in the village, which was mentioned, there was an adult community. Apartments were built, and they had to go back because they weren't selling or renting. Now there are families in there, and their children are part of the Goshen School District. So who's to say the same thing wouldn't happen with something like this? And also, I was never notified about this meeting, even though I live right on Everett Road, and I think I am probably one of the most impacted as far as my well being close to the water. And I would appreciate some kind of notification for the next meeting.
Rick, do you know exactly what the requirement is for notification of the distance?
Well, I mean, this was a previously noticed and continued public hearing. It will be continued. There will also be public hearing before the planning board gets to the planning board.